And radio check. So, yeah, we are live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the live stream for Watchalong of FP3 here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We are at the Baku City Circuit, the City of Flames, and the City of Winds. So, yeah, FP1 and FP2 are done. It's the final part of practice until we have the all important qualifying session. And yesterday's practice was again an interesting one. When I say interesting, I mean we didn't understand even a single bit. Similar to Monza, if you guys have tuned into that stream as well, this weekend as well, we have four teams fighting it out at front with the likes of Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes. But who is quickest? We don't know. In FP1, it was Max Verstappen quickest of all, and in FP2, we have it's Charles Leclerc the quickest. So definitely a lot of question marks going into this final practice session. But yeah, on your screen you can see the qualifying simulation based data gathered from the free practice 1 and 2, and from the data we can see Red Bull are the fastest. Haven't said that in a while, but yes, Red Bull seem to be the team to beat this weekend. Then in P2 we have Ferrari and McLaren, surprisingly from the data at the moment, seem to be the third quickest team this weekend. So definitely not great for the likes of Lando Norris, who wants to challenge Max Verstappen in the drivers' title. Mercedes again very closely behind McLaren there. So again similar to last weekend, four teams within 2 tenths of each other fighting it out for pole position and for the race win. If you have 1 minute until FP3 is underway, in the meantime, thank you very much everyone who have tuned in. Please don't forget to like the stream and subscribe the channel. Hello Ramin Shakib mate, welcome to the stream. Also shout out to Ramin for taking the channel membership. Thank you mate, your support really means a lot to me and keep showing your support. So thanks to Ramin for taking the channel membership. And yeah, back to racing. 30 seconds until FP3 is underway. As I was talking about McLaren, most of this stream we will discuss about the McLarens and the perspective of drivers championship this season, because we all know the constructor standings is mostly in the favor of McLaren, but the driver standings is an interesting one. Because okay, so in 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, and it's green lights at the end of pit lane and FP3 is underway. And instantly we have drivers on track, so Perez, Sunoda and Joe on track. But yeah, free practice will be going on, but we are here to discuss more about this season. Just a second, let me reset the timer in the meantime. Yeah, there you go, thank you. As I was saying, let's discuss a bit more about the championship rather than discussing about practice, because we all know not a lot going on track at the moment. So yeah, coming back to McLaren, the constructor standings, they trail Red Bull by 8 points. Ferrari are 40 points behind Red Bull. So the fight in the constructors is well and truly on. Red Bull, if they are not careful and don't bring upgrades to this car, they might as well lose speed in the constructors championships, because the Ferrari and the McLaren seem to be quite rapid. In the context of Ferrari and McLaren, I think that McLaren might have the edge over Ferrari in the later half of the season, but we never know. Maybe some more good races for Ferrari, and we might even see a Ferrari winning the championship. But moving on to the drivers' championship, as I said, the constructors is a bit more settled matter, because Red Bull have dropped off. Sergio Perez is not performing at his absolute best. But in the driver standings, it's all to play for. As on track, we have Perez and Verstappen on set of softs, Zhou, Tsunoda, and Bottas on set of hard tires. But back to driver standings, as I said, it's all to play for, because currently Max Verstappen is the leader in the driver standings by 62 points, and in the history of Formula 1, this large amount of gap has never been overturned. But what is history? As Michael Schumacher said, records are there to be broken, right? So in the second half of the season, okay, there's no one watching. What's happening, guys? Come on, please watch the stream, anyone who is watching. But yeah, as I was saying, it feels a little bit damp, the track. Sergio Perez saying that track feels a bit more damp. But yeah, as I was saying, in the driver standings, it's all to play for because we have the likes of Norris and Verstappen who are in the prime contention for the championship. Thank you, Ender Boy, for liking this stream, mate. Your support really means a lot. As I was saying, in the driver standings, Verstappen leads by 62 points, and in the history of Formula One, 62-point lead has never been overturned in a drivers' championship. So, looking at the stats and the patterns, Max Verstappen seemed to be comfortably winning the drivers' championships. But here comes the twist. In the past few rounds, McLaren have seemed to the quickest team in Formula One, and on the other hand, Red Bull has slipped to the fourth fastest team. What this means in terms of drivers' championship is, if Norris is able to win few races from now on, and Verstappen, as we all know, is in the fourth fastest car, so he will be struggling, and because of that struggling, Max Verstappen might finish fifth or sixth in few races. And in terms of Formula One, the difference between first and fifth to sixth position is approximately 15 points, and 15 points per race in a driver's standings is definitely a lot. So 2 to 3 good races for Norris and maybe even a slight DNF for Max and it's game on. So definitely the drivers championship still seems to be in the favor of Max Verstappen, but we never know because as I said, McLaren seem to be mighty and Red Bull seem to be falling off a cliff here. But the main point comes here is McLaren themselves because the fans are wanting Norris to win the championship. Many drivers in the paddock are wanting to see a championship fight. Almost everyone watching Formula One wants to see a championship fight except McLaren. Yes, you heard it right. McLaren don't seem to be at all interested in the driver standings. I don't know why. McLaren also don't know why. They just say that we are two number one drivers. I mean, it's good to have two number one drivers, but come on, guys. Oscar Piastri is almost more than 100 points behind in the driver standings, and he doesn't have even a slightest of the chance. Like, there are chances mathematically, but practically, if we see, Piastri doesn't have a chance to win the championship this season, but Norris has. And Norris is 60 points behind. As I said in the scenario, in the last race, Verstappen was 5th. And what does this mean? If Norris would have gone on to win the race, the current championship lead would have been close to 50 points. So, McLaren, in the past few races, they have been saying just one line. We have two number one drivers. I don't know why they are stuck to this point of view. Maybe if you might have heard the interview from Will Buxton, he said that maybe there might be a contract note in contract of Oscar Piastri that he should never be treated as a number two driver or something like that. Because currently the way McLaren are operating is not a championship winning way. They are still acting as underdogs, which they are not apparently. They are the fastest team in Formula One, and they have been for the past 8 to 10 races, and still they have went on to win only 3 of them, which is quite embarrassing in terms of McLaren because Mercedes, we all know, didn't have a great start of the season, have been struggling for quite a while, and still have won 3 races this season. McLaren, who have been the fastest team for most part of the season, and have won 3 races. So, this very much summarizes the whole season, the mentality McLaren are operating in. We saw this in Hungary. Like at Hungary, we all never even dreamed of the championship fight. We all thought maybe it was a slump in the performance of Max Verstappen, but no, it wasn't. In Hungary, McLaren accidentally gave the lead to Lando Norris and forced him to give it back to Oscar Piastri. If you guys might not have seen that race, I will recommend you guys to go and watch that race. But a short glimpse is that Oscar was leading, Norris was P2, but in the round of pit stops, Lando Norris was able to take the lead and Oscar Piastri dropped down to P2. So what McLaren said to Norris on the radio was, Lando, you need to give this position back to Oscar. We will need Oscar in this championship. They clearly say this word, we will need Oscar to win this championship. Lando Norris was not ready to give the position, but eventually he did. And what McLaren said was, they will need Oscar to win this championship. And now is the position in Formula One that Lando needs Oscar in this championship because we all know defeating Max Verstappen is not a mean feat. Even the likes of Lewis Hamilton, the greatest driver of all time, have not been able to do so. Max Verstappen last season was so dominant that he was not even making a single mistake. this season, at the start of the season, if you guys might have seen, we thought Formula One is over. Max Verstappen is gonna dominate this season as well. But as the season progressed, we had more and more chances of other drivers winning the races, and here we are. 8 races to go in this championship. Though Lando Norris is still 60 points behind, there is a chance, and there is a realistic chance. So I'm not saying like it as a fanboy or anything. Oh, we won a championship fight. There is a genuine chance in the drivers' championship, and McLaren are wanting to bottle it. We all know Lando Norris is not the best driver in terms of race start. There was this interesting statistic which I saw yesterday that there have been, I think, 15 races this season, and in all those 15 races, Lando Norris is the only driver to not gain a position on the opening lap, and that's quite insane. That means every other driver on the grid, all the 19 drivers, have gained at least a position on the opening lap, but Lando Norris has never. So this is quite a concerning stat if you are a McLaren or a Norris fan. But still, this doesn't matter to Norris because the car has been there with him and he's able to capitalize this mistake with the pace of his car. Last race in Italy, Norris was on pole. Piastri alongside him. Great quali for McLaren. Yes, nice. At the start of the race, Norris finally had a great start, and it finally looked that Norris will be able to keep up his position. Okay, so 20 points this year. Sunoda, some stat for Sunoda. He has scored 17 more points this season than last year. But yeah, back to Norris. Last race, he was able to have a great start, keep the lead into turns 1, 2, and 3. And it seemed like, okay, it's all good sailing for McLaren because they had the pace in the car. And it seemed that McLaren will comfortably go on to win the race and extend the lead in both the cover up the lead of Red Bull in both the championships. But eventually, what happened into the turns 4, 5, and 6 complex? Oscar Piastri absolutely sent it down the inside of Lando Norris and took that lead into turn 4 and never gave it, like, you shouldn't give a lead back, but he absolutely flew off in the distance. Okay. So yeah. As I was saying, Oscar Piastri took the lead, and yeah, that is very much it. What happened was Piastri was P2, Norris was Piastri P1, Norris P2. Both the drivers were pushing each other to the absolute limits, and eventually, it was Charles Leclerc who took the race win. So if you look in terms of championship, Norris almost lost 10 points there, in comparison to Max Verstappen. And an interesting point. Okay, here comes the main point. An interesting point. When Lando Norris was looking to overtake Oscar Piastri, we heard something on the radio which we might have heard for the first time, and it was papaya rules. Yes, papaya rules. I don't know what we all didn't knew what it was at the start of that weekend. McLaren said Norris on the radio, "We are free to race, but remember papaya rules." And every fan was confused. What the hell are papaya rules? After the race, Zach Brown, the CEO of McLaren, and Andrea Stella, the team principal of McLaren, clarified that papaya rules are nothing but basic rules which drivers need to follow while racing. That is, do not crash on each other or keep out of incidents, and yeah, just basic racing etiquettes that do not go for a bullseye move or do not go for a dive bomb or something like that. But see, if we look from a perspective of Oscar Piastri, it's quite fair. We want good and fair racing in Formula One. We all know in Red Bull, when the likes of Webber and Vettel were racing, there were quite a lot of controversy with Multi 21, that is, team orders, right? No one likes team orders, no drivers like team orders, and team orders are not at all healthy for the team and driver relationship. We all understand that. But at this moment, McLaren, especially Norris, is in a place where he can win the drivers' championship, and McLaren are adamant we have two number one drivers. Oh, come on, guys. What is two number one drivers? There can never be two number one drivers in a Formula One team. Look at the likes of great drivers. At the times of Michael Schumacher, Rubens Barrichello was a great driver, but he was never a number one. He was always there to support Michael. There is no disrespect to those drivers. You are great. You have done great performances, but there needs to be some bit more favor to one driver if you need to win constant championships. Then we move on to the Vettel era. We had Weber, who was number two driver, Vettel was number one. No disrespect to Weber, but Red Bull focused Vettel, and that's why they were able to win four championships on a bounce with Vettel. Then we have the Hamilton era. There we had Hamilton, preferably the number one, though Rosberg was not ready to take the number two status, and we saw that in 2016 there were a lot of glimpses of battles and intense rivalries between Mercedes. Mercedes were lucky to win the championship that season because there were no other teams challenging them. But this season it's different, right? 2016 Mercedes, if there were the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari challenging them, they surely won't have won the championship because the battle between Rosberg and Hamilton in 2016 was quite intense. Then we go to 2017 to 2020. Bottas was clearly the number two driver, and we had Lewis Hamilton dominating the sport in that era. Then moving back to 2021 and beyond, in Red Bull, we have Max Verstappen, who is clearly the number one driver, and we saw the results in 2023. 19 race wins out of 23 is not a mean feat. This is pinpoint accuracy from Red Bull, and the two races that Verstappen didn't win was where his teammate Checo won. And in those races, if you guys might have seen some videos, Max was absolutely furious of the team that why didn't they prioritize him over Checo. And this is a winning attitude because all the drivers who have dominated Formula 1 in the past are the drivers with this ruthless mentality. But what's the issue here with McLaren and Norris are they are adamant that we have two number one drivers and we won't be prioritizing a single driver. What this means, McLaren won't win the Drivers' Championship this season. As clear as that. I mean, there are still quite a lot of chances for McLaren to be able to clinch that championship. But the way McLaren are operating at the moment is quite hilarious. They are not clear in their strategies, they are not clear in their driver preferences, tire choices. We saw that in Silverstone where they left it to the driver to select the tires. But in reality, it should be the team who should select the tire and prefer it to the driver, right? So McLaren definitely seem to be quite confused. The driver tracker is lagging. Is there a red flag or something like that? I'm not sure. I will let you guys know. Okay, there's yellow flag in sector 3. I think someone has crashed. Is it Ocon? Yeah, and Alpine has stopped on track. Alpine has stopped on track. Is it Ocon Gasly? I think it should be Ocon. Yeah, it's Ocon. Esteban Ocon is stopped in the middle of the penultimate corner. There should be a red flag now because, yeah, red flag. So red flag, and the practice session has now been stopped. But this won't stop our conversation. Coming back to McLaren, they have been quite dicey with their, as I said, they have been quite dicey with their decisions this season, made be tire choices, driver preferences, and this all things contribute them in not being the team to beat in Formula 1 at the moment. And why I say this is, in the past few races, we have seen Ferrari winning races, Red Bull have not won for a long time, but Ferrari and Mercedes winning the races, where clearly they have not been the fastest car, but still they are winning the races. You ask why? Because McLaren are not clear yet. That's as simple as that. So what should McLaren do? Like if you guys might have seen the stream from yesterday, in an interview, Andrea Stella was asked that what will they do in the later of this. Oh, sorry, let me drink some water. Okay. So Andrea Stella in an interview 2 days earlier on Thursday was asked that what McLaren will do now if they have to select between Oscar and Lando. So Stella in an interview said that from now on until the end of the season, firstly said we discussed it with the team with Oscar and with Lando, and Oscar was happy to prioritize Lando, and so Stella said that if there is a 50-50 situation, we will prioritize Lando and Lando will be a priority. So kudos to McLaren, finally they have realized that Lando is a driver who can win the championship and not Oscar. But I hope it's not too late because we have only 8 rounds left, 60 points. That means if Max Verstappen finishes P2 in all the races, Lando Norris needs to win all of those if he needs to win the Drivers' Championship this season, which is quite hard. And when I say quite hard, it's almost next to impossible to win all the races this season. But yeah, It's possible. I will just pause the commentary for a few minutes, guys. So. Okay, so thank you very much for the patience, guys. The session will resume in 1 minute's time. The session to resume in 1 minute. The cause of the red flag was Esteban Ocon was stopped on track at turn 17 because of maybe I think a gearbox or a drive shaft issue. Not clear, but from the sound, it seemed that there was something of a fault in the car, and he stopped on the track. The car is now recovered, and the session should be underway in any time soon. So yeah, 36 minutes to go in this free practice 3 session for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Till now, no driver has set a proper lap time yet. You can see on your screens that the best lap time is 2 minutes 43 seconds, which is nowhere near to the best lap times we have seen yesterday. So, definitely a lot of runnings to go for all the drivers on track, and for the likes of Mercedes who didn't have even a single laps on track. So, definitely they will be looking to capitalize their time as much as possible. So, yeah, the pit lane is now open and the cars are now on track. We have 35 minutes to go in this practice session. Thank you very much everyone who have tuned in. Please don't forget to like this stream and subscribe the channel. Your support really helps and motivates me a lot. We are just 5 subscribers away from the target, so be sure to subscribe the channel. And yeah, back to the stream. Oscar Piastri is the first driver out on track. Then you have the likes of Lewis Hamilton and then Alonso and George Russell out on track. So yeah, talking of McLaren, I think we have talked a lot and it's of no use further because McLaren, they have said that they will prioritize Lando Norris this weekend above Oscar Piastri. But let's see how much they can follow that prioritizing thing and how the weekend unfolds. We will have qualifying in I think 14, 15, 16. 2 hours times. No, 4 hours time from now. So be sure to tune in for the live stream of qualifying as well as I will be doing the qualifying along with my commentary and the race data. So yeah, be sure to tune in for qualifying. Oh, why is the track map lagging again? There has been this problem on this website yesterday. I will try to rectify it for qualifying surely. But yeah, be sure to tune in for qualifying because qualifying is gonna be a banger this weekend. As I said, 4 teams. We have 4 teams who are realistically in the chance for being on pole position. That is Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren. But in the past few weekends, in that 4 teams, we had only 7 drivers who realistically had a chance to be on pole. But this weekend, we have 8 drivers. That is both the Red Bulls, both the Mercedes, both the Ferraris, and both the McLarens. Some very light drops of rain is the radio message from Oscar Piastri. But yeah, as I was saying, in the past few weekends, Sergio Perez was not in that fight of the top 7 drivers. But we all know Sergio Perez is kind of a specialist around the Baku City circuit and is the only driver to win on this track for more than one. So yeah, definitely looking great yesterday. I think he was 300 milliseconds slower than Max Verstappen in first practice and was faster than Verstappen in the second practice. So definitely a lot of confidence going to this weekend for Sergio Perez, and we'll be interested to see what he can do. The Red Bull seems quick, so maybe even a pole position might be up for grabs. We never know, because in this practice session we haven't seen any representative lap at all. At the moment, Piastri is on a flying lap, so is Sainz, Russell, Leclerc, and Hamilton. Sergio Perez, I think, will start his flying lap now, so we'll get a bit more idea of how the drivers and the teams track at the moment. But from yesterday's data, Red Bull seemed to be the quickest, marginally ahead of the likes of Ferrari. McLaren didn't seem to be as quick as they are in the past few races, and Mercedes a bit more closer to McLaren than they have been throughout the whole season. So yeah, Oscar Piastri I think will be the first driver to set a representative lap time. Let's see what he can do. Fastest in the middle sector and going well in the first sector. Coming down the long straight, we all know sector 3 is nothing but straight line. You can see on the screen the blue part of the track. It's nothing just straights and a bit few curves which the drivers can easily take flat out in this modern Formula 1 cars. As here we have Oscar Piastri crossing the line. A 1 minute 45.476 for Piastri and goes quickest. Further back we have Lewis Hamilton who will be the next driver to cross the line, and here comes Lewis Hamilton and goes P2. A 1 minute 45.616 for Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen going great to sector 2, so yeah, Red Bull definitely seem to have the pace this weekend. Let's see what lap time Verstappen can do. And Max Verstappen crosses the line, goes quickest, a 1 minute 45.209 for the Dutchman. That's put him to the tops of the timesheets. Further back, we have the likes of Perez and Sainz on a good lap. Carlos Sainz will be the next driver to cross the line and goes P2. So the timing sheets have started to tumble now. Carlos Sainz with a lap time of 1 minute 45.278, less than a tenth slower than Max Verstappen. Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc are the drivers who are remaining to cross the line. Sergio Perez looked quite quick yesterday, very close to Max Verstappen. Let's see where he slots in today. P3. Good lap from Checo there. A tenth and a half slower than his teammate. 1 minute 45.353. The next driver to cross the line is Charles Leclerc, the winner from Monza. Let's see what he can do here. Leclerc goes P4, a second slower than Max. Oh, sorry, 2 tenths slower than Max Verstappen. So yeah, as I said, the top two teams at the moment seem to be the Red Bulls and the Ferraris. Then we have McLaren and Mercedes very close behind. Albon is on a great lap. Hold on there. Alex Albon seems to be on a good lap, and here's Alex Albon crosses the line, goes fastest. Wow, 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 wow. That's interesting to see. Alex Albon with a lap of 1 minute 44.371 goes to the top of the timesheets. Wow. If it's the true pace for Williams in qualifying, I'll be quite amazed to be honest. Franco Colapinto seems to be on a great lap as well. Let's see what lap time he can do. Here's Colapinto, crosses the line, goes P2. 8 tenths slower than his teammate. Not a great lap, but still. P2 in the Williams. Franco Colapinto, 1 minute 45.186. Well, what's that? I think it's just a glory run from Williams. They might have tuned their engine quite to the quali performance, and I hope, like, if Williams are good, it's fine, but it seems that Williams have tuned their engine a little bit higher and might be running with lower fuel loads here as compared to the likes of the top 4 teams. Oscar Piastri, I think, is on a great fast lap again. Let's see if he can improve his lap time and maybe go a bit more closer to the likes of the Williams as we have. And come on.
Alex 44.4 on la place, second to rating. Face i second 1 Filip commencer second. Anyway, who would they then?
No, at the moment I'm happy with you guys.
you some feels and sounds a little bit funny. Mainly at the brake and off throttle.
Hey,